Identity refers to one's sense of self as an individual and how one defines themselves in terms of values, beliefs, and role in the world. Identity development is an important task in adolescence because adolescents are developing educational and professional goals while shaping an image of who they are and want to be. Research indicates that a clear and stable identity makes students more resilient, reflective, and autonomous in the pursuit of important life decisions. Studying identity development in adolescence helps a teacher be sensitive towards students who aren't aware about themselves or their passions. It helps the teacher understand the emotional requirements of such students. Studying identity development in adolescence will help you make your students into members of society who have a strong sense of personal identity, which will cause your fame as a teacher to rise, as you will be known for your ability to help your students find their identities. In this module, we will learn about psychosocial conflict of identity versus role confusion, ego identity, identity achievement, development of identity during adolescent years. Erik Erikson was a famous psychologist who developed the theory of psychosocial development and identity crisis. He held positions at highly reputed institutions such as Harvard, Yale, and Berkeley. Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development emphasizes the social nature of our students' development. His theory proposed that psychosocial development takes place throughout our students' lifespans. Erikson felt that how we interact with others is what affects our sense of self, or what he called the ego identity. He also believed that we are motivated by a need to achieve competence in our lives. Erikson believed that the primary psychosocial task of adolescence was establishing an identity. This occurs during adolescence between the ages of 12 to 18. During this stage, adolescents explore their independence and develop a sense of self. For example, when Roshni was in high school, she was deciding whether to focus her education on the sciences or the humanities. For this reason, Roshni experimented with courses in both disciplines. Erikson referred to life's fifth psychosocial task as one where adolescents must work through the complexities of finding their own identity. Erikson referred to this as role confusion. This stage includes questioning oneself regarding appearance, career aspirations, education, relationships, sexuality, political views, personality, and interests. Erikson saw this as a period of confusion and experimentation regarding identity and one's life path. During adolescence, teens refrain from committing to an identity while exploring their options. For example, while in high school, Rajiv was deciding whether he was the type of person who was always nice to others or the type of person who had a sarcastic attitude. He tried being both to see what fit him best. One of the main elements of Erikson's psychosocial stage theory is the development of ego identity. This is the conscious sense of self that we develop through social interaction, which is constantly changing due to new experiences. As students transition from childhood to adulthood, teens may begin to feel confused or insecure about themselves and how they fit into society. According to Erikson, this is important to the process of forming a strong identity and developing a sense of direction in life. For example, while in high school, Neha was deciding whether to be conservative or liberal. She followed news stories of both political ideologies and listened to what members of both parties said. When speaking with others, She would sometimes espouse liberal policies and at other times conservative policies. This helped Neha realize she wanted a career in politics. Identity achievement is influenced by how teenagers resolved all of the previous childhood psychosocial crises. The adolescent stage is a bridge between the past and the future. Thus, in Erikson's view, in adolescence, central questions are, who am I? And who do I want to be? Some adolescents adopt the values and roles that their parents expect for them. Others teen develop identities that are in opposition to their parents but align with a peer group. This change is common as peer relationships become a central focus in adolescents' lives. The culmination of this exploration is a more coherent view of oneself. Those who are unsuccessful at resolving this stage may withdraw into social isolation or become lost in the crowd. However, more recent research suggests that few leave this age period with identity achievement and that most identity formation occurs during young adulthood. For example, Ramu's parents always taught Ramu to be a clean-cut member of society. But Ramu experimented with counterculture in high school. Rather than doing as his parents said, Ramu liked keeping his hair long and going to nightclubs with friends when he wasn't studying. Ramu achieved an identity opposed to what his parents taught him. Ramu decided that this is who he was and that he didn't want to be like his parents. Parents and family members continue to exert an influence on how teens feel about themselves. But outside forces also become particularly important during this time. Friends, societal trends, and even popular culture play a role in shaping identity. Teens who receive proper encouragement through the period of personal exploration will emerge from this stage with a strong sense of self. Those who remain unsure of their beliefs and desires will remain insecure and confused about themselves and the future. Resolving the crisis at this stage of development involves committing to a particular identity. This might involve committing to a career path or deciding what social groups to associate with. For example, while in high school, Reena decided that she didn't want to be an engineer like her parents were. Reena decided she wanted to be a banker. This was Reena's identity. Reena's parents supported Reena's choices and Reena was healthier because of it. So, what happens to those who do not end up successfully forming an identity at this point in development? Kids who are not allowed to explore and test out different identities might be left with what Erikson referred to as role confusion. These individuals are not sure who they are or what they like. They tend to drift from one job or relationship to another, never really sure what they want to do with their lives. They are left feeling disappointed and confused about their place in life. For example, Jinu never figured out who he was or what he liked because he wasn't allowed to experiment. Because of this, Jinu now drifts from job to job in different industries, feeling unsure of where he fits in best. In this module, we learned about identity versus role confusion, ego identity, identity achievement, and the development of identity during adolescent years. The process of identity development can be a confusing and challenging period. Adults can support adolescents through this process by affirming that the anxiety, doubts, and confusion are normal and that most teens do not complete identity achievement before graduating high school. Adults should talk with adolescents about their values, goals, and identities to help build awareness. They may be interested to know how others made decisions while developing their own identities. With the awareness of how adolescents achieve identity, teachers can incorporate the following activities to raise the citizens of tomorrow. 1. Teachers can have their students write journals for a better understanding of themselves and to express any confusion in a safe environment. 2. SWOT analysis, which stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, will give students insights on how they can make use of opportunities around them to integrate the values that come with education into their identity. Congratulations! Now you understand the basics of studying identity development in adolescence. Keep watching to learn more.